Hello, I'm Nadine and a very warm welcome. So it's everything apple season and today we are making a classic French dessert, Tarte Tatin. It is apples, caramel and pastry. Can't go wrong with that. And keep watching because I'm also going to show you how to make a super cute caramel decoration. So I'm gonna have these dessert recipes and pretty presentation ideas to share with your loved ones every week. So please be sure to subscribe and like the videos. And now let's prepare the apples. So I have 6 apples here. I am using Gala apples. Basically, your apples have to be quite firm so that they don't turn to mush when you bake them. You can also try Honey Crisp or Fuji apples. Those will work well too. So we have to peel them, core them, and cut them into quarters. So let's do that. So I went apple picking this weekend, which I love doing in the fall. It was such a beautiful day. But literally whenever I go apple picking, I act as if I've never seen an apple in my life. And I want to pick every single apple on the tree. Like a hoarder. Let me know in the comments if anybody else does that. And then you get home and you have bags and bags of apples. But it's all good because then you can make yummy apple things like this tart tartan. So after you're done peeling your apples, we're just gonna cut them with a sharp knife. I love this shun bearing knife that I have. It just makes such a difference when you have sharp knives. It's literally life-changing. Once you get a good quality knife, then you'll be like, what have I been doing all this time? With this recipe, you want them to be nice and chunky, you don't slice them too thin like a pretty apple tart or something, because the tart wants those meaty apples in there. And once you're done slicing, just sprinkle them with some lemon juice because the acid in it will stop them from browning. But if they're browning a bit, don't worry about it too much because we're going to brown them in the caramel later anyway. Okay, so we have 100 grams of sugar, 50 grams of butter. These are the apples that we prepared. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and then we will put 1 star anise flower in it. These things are just so pretty and they smell so good. I like to drop one in my chai as well. It's really yummy. And I have this beautiful Madagascar vanilla bean. I mean, these do cost $1 million, but it's totally worth it. If you don't have a bean, you can use a vanilla extract, a good quality one, but you don't use an essence. Those are just not good. This adds so much flavor to it. So what you do is you just take your whole pot, lay it flat, and then with a knife you just slit it in half, and then you can, these are the yummy seeds which you can just scrape off and use them. Don't waste these the empty pod, because you can actually just put them in a pot of sugar and then you'll have this yummy vanilla sugar. So definitely reuse these. Okay, so now we will start on the caramel, but before we do, I just want to say that just be super careful because caramel gets so hot. Just to put things into perspective, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius and caramel is 160 or higher. So you have to be careful. If you love caramel and you get burnt, you will not love caramel anymore. For sure. So it helps if you're prepared. So just measure out your ingredients and have a clear spot on the counter to put the pan, because what happens is that you start browning the sugar and you're kind of waiting, da 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 da, and then all of a sudden it turns that amber color, and from there it can burn very quickly. So if you're prepared, then it eliminates any panic or stress. So when the caramel gets hot, you keep your cool. Okay, so we'll add the sugar. One way to do this is that you can actually make the caramel sauce and lay the apples directly in the pan, let them cook for 10 minutes, put the pastry over them in the pan, and put the whole thing in the oven and bake it that way. But you just have to make sure that your pan is oven proof, heat resistance, the handle doesn't have any plastic on it. So that's one way to do it, but we'll do it a little differently. I'm going to put them in a square pan because I wanted to try that shape. And this caramel is turning this sort of amber color, and you can swirl it around. A dry caramel is a little more forgiving because the sugar doesn't crystallize that much. So you can stir it a little bit, but not too much. Okay, at this stage, we'll add the butter. Scissor, scissor. And then our gorgeous vanilla. Cinnamon, and this super pretty sour mix. And we'll just mix it. You guys, it's smelling so good in here. It's like fall in a pan. Okay, now at this stage where it's nice and brown, we are gonna add the apples very carefully. So let's do the pastry now. This is just a sheet of puff pastry. For a tarte tatin, you can use puff pastry or short crust pastry. Short crust pastry I always make myself, but it just makes life a little easier if you can buy the puff pastry. I mean, you can try making it, or there's another version of it called rough puff pastry that you can also use for this recipe. Let me know in the comments if you buy a crust or make it yourself at home. Okay, so all we have to do is this is an 8-inch square pan, and we'll use it as a sort of a template and just cut out the pastry. And you want it to be a little bigger than the pan, maybe almost an inch bigger, so that you can tuck the pastry into the apples a little bit. I'm just using this fluted cutter, but you could use a pizza wheel or just a knife. It doesn't really show because we are going to turn this upside down. There you go, our pastry is cut. So earlier I took out the apples from the caramel. We're going to pour the caramel in the pan and then lay the apples in. And we are going to arrange our apples that we prepared earlier. Now these you want to pack them in quite tight because they do shrink when they cook. Okay, so now we are just going to lay this pastry over the apples gently. Once you have it nice and tart, then we are just going to make some slits in here so that the steam can escape. And that's it. So this goes in the oven at 375 for about 30 to 40 minutes. You'll know when it's done when the pastry is nice and golden brown. So while the Tarte Tatin is in the oven, we will make these fun sugar decorations. So I just took some hazelnuts and put a toothpick on it like this. And I have some caramel here. I made it with 1 cup of sugar and a 1/4 cup of water. So what we do is we just dip the whole thing in the caramel. And it has this sort of drip. So then what you do is you just put it on the side of a counter under a weight or something, and it's gonna dry like that, and that'll be your decoration. So it is ready. We took it out of the oven and I let it sort of cool for 10 minutes. And now we're going to flip it over. So I think the best way to do it is that your serving platter, you just flip it on top. And it's good to have one with a little bit of lip or a little depth so that it holds the caramel when it comes out. And then you hope for the best, say a little prayer, and just flip it in one go. Okay guys, moment of truth. Look at that. That is a real beauty. Now I'll put some decorations on it, the hazelnuts that we did before, and we are going to do the taste test. I can't wait. Oh my gosh, the pastry is nice and crisp. The apples are golden. This is gonna be good. Yummy. Flaky pastry, juicy golden caramel apples. Can't get any better than that. So please remember to subscribe. I hope you try this recipe. If you do, please tag me on Instagram. I would love to see your creations. The whole recipe will be on my website, nadine.com. And that's it. I hope you share this with your loved ones. Until next time, we are making okay. I forgot what we made. Please subscribe. I can't speak, but please subscribe.